Jerusalem, they had abandoned God. And they were catching hell in their life. Their money had gotten real funny. And they wondered why things were not working right. And the Bible says, Malachi said, it's because you've been pimping God. You've been pimping God. Yeah, you've been pimping God. You have 50 in your pocket and you give him $1. You've been pimping God. You've been bringing all this raggedy offering to the house of God. The Bible says there in the first chapter that they had been getting, instead of getting the best young calf, they would get one that had one eye. Instead of getting one that could run, they would get one that had a raggedy leg. Instead of giving God their best, they were giving God their worst. And any time you expect God to do something for you and you don't give him nothing but crumbs, how can you ask God for something if you ain't going to give God something? How can you expect the best from God when you give him something that ain't worth nothing to you? When you give him something that you know you're not going to miss? But we want God to bless us. The Bible says that they had been giving God raggedy offerings. When they knew better. When they knew better. They were giving God their raggedy offerings. But you see, there's something else here this morning. You see, what they didn't understand was, in spite of God receiving raggedy offerings, in spite of them going around lying and talking about God has moved and he's got a new address that created him a new world somewhere else, they didn't understand that God, in spite of their frightfulness, was still blessing them. Yes, he was, y'all. In spite of their negligence, God was still blessing them. What you talking about, Redic? Well, you know, there was a time in all of our lives when we didn't have sense enough to pray for ourselves. There was a time in our lives when we didn't have sense enough to recognize God for who he was. But is there anybody in the house that had a praying mama that sent up some timber on your behalf? Is there anybody in the house that had a praying daddy that sent some timber up on your behalf? God said, I haven't destroyed you because I loved you. I haven't destroyed you because I have a covenant. I have a covenant with your forefathers. And I don't know about you, but somebody prayed me through. How somebody prayed me through. And they didn't realize that God was faithful to them. But what they didn't understand was this, that they were breaking the contractual agreement that they had with God. You see, when you go downtown and you get a mortgage, you go into a contractual agreement. Can I get a witness? When you go down there, you tell them the house is $300,000 and you put $50,000 down on it. You go into a contractual agreement and you tell them that every month on the 15th day you're going to pay $1,250 a month on that contractual agreement. And what they didn't understand was that they were in a bond with God. As members of the A&E Church, when we come down and give our hand to the preacher and give our heart to God, we go into a contractual agreement. I'm going to support the ministries of the church. Yes, that's what we say we're going to do. They were in a contractual agreement. And what God says is, if you hold up your end of the contractual agreement, I will make sure that you don't run out. If you hold up your end of the contractual agreement, I will make sure your money don't get funny. If you hold up your end of the bargain and do right by me, I will do right by you. Let me make it even plainer. If you hold up your end of the contractual agreement, I Bentley, if you hold up your end of the contractual agreement, I'll let you shop at Neiman Marcus. If you hold up your end of the contractual agreement, I'll make a way for you. If you do right by me, I'll do right by you. I don't know about y'all, but I'm going to do right by God. Malachi said that God said, if you bring my money to my house and make sure that there's meat in my house, I'll open the windows of heaven and give you a blessing. The last time I checked, my God is not a God that can lie. My God is not a God that tells stories. All you gotta do is take in for his word.